Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I've often said on this platform that Zimbabwe is a failed state. It is a failed state. The country has got so much economic potential, and yet millions of our people are living in abject poverty. Basic services like education, healthcare, the roads, supply of clean water, electricity, etc., have all but collapsed. There are many reasons why Zimbabwe is a failed state. But one of those reasons is that the people themselves, the ordinary people, have failed to hold those in positions of power and authority to account. The ancient Greeks were right. Democracy only works if the people are educated, knowledgeable, objective, and diligent in their duty to hold those in power to account. And unfortunately, millions of Zimbabweans are ignorant, naive, and gullible. And it is no surprise that the politicians on both sides of the political divide have taken full advantage of it, have conned them again and again to do some of the most outrageous things. Here is one such political leader, Nelson Chamisa, boasting of a new Zimbabwe. And he talks of stud people. It is good to study books, but don't forget to stud people. As if to say, I have studied people. Well, the only thing one can say about him studying people is that he has a following from the 2023 elections of nearly 2 million people whom he had studied so well and knew they were naive and gullible. He was able to lie to them that he had plugged all the vote rigging loopholes to stop Zanu PF rigging the elections. And they believed him. It was an idiotic lie. But what matters is they believed him. They participated in the flawed elections to give Zanu PF legitimacy. This point of participating in flawed elections is a point that I have addressed again and again and again because it is at the heart of why we failed to remove Zanu PF from office. Showing at the bottom of the screen there, a quotation from David Coulthard's book, where he admitted that the 2013 elections were so flawed, so illegal, the logical step to do was to withdraw from the election process. But he goes on to explain why he and his fellow opposition leaders went ahead and participated. The MDCN knew that Zanu PF was giving away a few gravy train seats to entice the opposition to participate. MDCT knew the same thing. Each side could not trust the other one to withdraw, because they knew if they participate, they'll get those bait seats. And so they ended up all participating. And they've been participating in these flawed elections out of greed. Of course, they could not tell their supporters that we are participating in these flawed elections out of greed. So they had to tell them something else. They had to tell them that the opposition can win rigged elections. And alas, the electorate, their supporters, believed it. And this lie has been told again and again and again. And if studying people has made people like Chamisa realize that there are a lot of gullible people, then yes, he has studied people. And he can rightly boast about it. But what Chamisa should never forget is that not everyone is naive. There are people out there who also know that this idea of participating in flawed elections is futile. Chamisa should never make the assumption just because he is able to con 2 million of his followers that he can con all Zimbabweans. There are Zimbabweans out there who know that he is lying, that he is conning people, and that he must account for it. And trust me, he will be held to account for it. Here is a video clip where Chamisa, no doubt confident that he can lie to everybody, was taken to task on his lies. And he failed to get away with it.
Ende patakasangana na Trump akatibvunza naye akomana mari yamuri kuda kuti nyika ifambe imari.
Serious questions were raised about your behaviour in Washington, D.C. You did see some senior people on Capitol Hill, some Congress people, but you also claimed that you'd seen Donald Trump. You claimed you had a conversation with him in which you said he asked you how much you needed to move the country forward. You told him $15 billion, and he said to you that he would provide the money if you won the election. That was not true, was it?
Sangana na Trump akatibvunza naye akomana mari yamuri kuda kuti nyika ifambe imari.
It was not true that you'd seen Donald Trump and that Donald Trump indicated to you that he would provide, if you won the election, $15 billion.
All those statements were said by other people, not what I said.
Kasangana na Trump akatibvunza naye akomana mari yamuri kuda kuti nyika ifambe imari.
Well, no, because there is a video which shows you at a rally in January back home in Zimbabwe saying that Donald Trump had pretty much promised you $15 billion. To be clear, because some people in Zimbabwe are still confused, you're now telling me you did not meet Donald Trump.
We did not.
Well, that is one case which we must account for conning people to participate in these flawed elections to give Zanu PF legitimacy. He can call his Chamisa chete brigade, but he should never assume that he can con everybody else. Here is somebody else also pointing out this problem of the opposition saying one thing and doing another. In this particular case, participating in flawed elections out of greed. Even when it was shown that the process was flawed, they still insisted in taking up their grave train seats.
Business. This is what I want to remind most of our MPs and other people.
Do you think they look at it as a business?
Yes, they look at it as a business. Because they look at it as a business seriously. Because the moment they go, business and employment creation. Because if they go to parliament, you are employed. You get a car, you get a stable salary, and you are paid until your term is over. Already you are employed. If you are out, you're out of employment.
If you serve 2 terms, you get a pension?
You get a pension. Then already, this is why people kill in politics. They kill to be in parliament. This is why we have violence in this country. Because there is no employment. The only employment which is there is in politics. There is no other outside employment. So for them, a very good example is, look at what happened to CCC, the Triple C party. Have a look. When they lost, when they said they were rigged, what I expected from them, I expected all parliamentarians to say, we are not going to go to participate in a rigged system. And we are not going to sit in a rigged parliament. Because the elections have been rigged. So all of us were not going to parliament. Imagine what could have happened. We could have gone into new elections. There's no way Zanu PF was going to rule alone.
You think so?
Yes.
Do they care?
Caring or not caring, the public would have forced them because the majority of the people would want representation in parliament.
If you want to make a full-time income from home working part-time, you need...
Well, I think what should be understood there is that the people, when they realize that all MDC, Triple C guys took up their gravy train seats, they should also stood up and held them to account. Not just looking at Zanu PF. MDC, Triple C have been participating in these flawed elections, knowing fully well that the process is flawed, as I said, and knowing fully well that by participating, they're giving Zanu PF legitimacy. Now they have the evidence. The MDC guys were participating out of greed. There can be no doubt about it. The question is, how long are the people going to continue participating in these flawed elections to give the regime legitimacy and perpetuate the people their own suffering? That is what is at stake here. And we should not chicken out and fail to hold MDC Triple C to account. Here is a regular contributor on this platform saying, tired of the topic. It was interesting to listen to, but this is your only subject. Well, the only thing one can say is, here is just another Chamisa Chete brigade who will never hold Chamisa and company to account and detest anyone who dares to hold them to account. As I said at the beginning, Chamisa should congratulate himself for having studied the people and realize that there are a lot of ignorant, naive, and gullible people out there. But he should have also realized that man is a creature of reason. As much as there were 2 million Chamisa Chete brigade members who believed his idiotic lie that he had plugged the vote drinking loopholes, he should also know that there were many, many other Zimbabweans who were not easily conned. And what is more, there are a lot more Zimbabweans who are waking up to the reality that Chamisa conned them. That is the message that he must learn, and those Chamisa Chete brigade must learn. As long as they keep on participating in these flawed elections and give Zanu PF legitimacy, they are perpetuating the suffering of everyone. And Chamisa and the brigade members must know that they will be held to account. Thank you very much, those of you who were able to listen, and I hope we'll be able to do it again tomorrow. Our usual time, 6 o'clock UK time, 8 o'clock Zimbabwean time. Thank you. Have a good night.